What's up, all day family? Welcome to the live stream Thursday preview of the conference showdowns this weekend. I'm Brett. This is Lofa. Welcome. What's up, man?
Salutations.
We will let people start joining and filling up the chat. But as they do, let's just get into some Seahawks rumors, some Seahawks goss.
Goss.
Last week we talked about who was it? Kubiak, right?
Yep,
and the rumors with him, Clint Kubiak, that is. This week there's these Hank Fraley stories, and I think he's making a second visit up there. Is that a name that you're interested in? And what do you think about that?
Damn right. Hank Fraley is a savage, and he will get that run game fixed. I think I played against him twice, the Eagles and then the Browns, and just a tough dude, what Dan Campbell kind of personifies in terms of just toughness. Played against both those guys, and they were two of the toughest dudes. So that resonates with players, right? Okay. A lot of guys want to be coached by someone that played. I've never really cared. I just always took the information and tried to best apply it, but it seems like it goes farther when a guy has actually played, that players are more willing to listen.
Yeah. I see you guys joining the stream here. Thanks for logging on. I'm kind of wondering where you're watching from. So as you log on, start filling up the chat. Where are you watching from today at 2 p.m. on a Thursday? Are you at work? Are you watching us when you should be working? What's going on? Also, hey, copy the link, send it to a friend that should be working. Let them know that we're live right now and they can join the chat. We're taking questions, comments, anything you guys want to talk about. So welcome to the stream, and start hitting up that chat, checking in where you're watching from. So Fraley is someone you'd be definitely interested in. I wonder how many Seahawk fans know that name, are aware of him. You just introduced us to him a little bit, but how do you guys feel about Hank Fraley, and is that a name that would get you fired up out there in Seahawk land? I mean, for me, man, it's just whoever's going to carry out Mac's vision, isn't it?
Yes. Who aligns with, that's exactly, partner. They have to be aligned strategically in how they want to go about it. Mac, a term we always hear from him is complementary football. Okay. And whether it's the defense and all defenders playing together, or it's the offense and defense balancing out the game plan to make sure that, there's not too many snaps on one side of the ball. So, and the running game is the focus. I think we would say the last 3 years, it's something that has to be fixed.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, Daniel's checking in, says, picking up my daughter from school and watching. Hopefully you're just sitting in the pickup lot. Don't be moving the vehicle, all right?
Yes.
Phone down, eyes on the road. Let's see. Kristen says she's watching from home. Mike says he's in San Antonio.
What's up, San Antonio, Texas?
What's up, San Antonio? You guys
is Katie from San Antonio?
Yeah.
Katie claims she's from just about everywhere, depending on what day of the week you ask her, right, Katie?
Yeah, well, Mike could go check out my parents' Chinese restaurant. It's called Firewalk. It's in the Heatner Oak Shopping Center. If you go and you mention the All Day Podcast, we'll buy you some wontons.
That's a true thing.
That is real.
Your parents own a Chinese restaurant in San Antonio.
They do. Okay. And
awesome.
If Mike wants some wontons, he can go say what's up. I'll buy you some wontons, Mike.
There you go, Mike.
You won't do it, Mike. I dare you.
From the All Day Podcast.
Send us a picture.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for being here. Keep filling up the chat. And now that you've checked in with where you're watching from and all that, how do you feel about Fraley? And is that who you want to see them ultimately hire? I wonder if the person they want to hire is still out there coaching on any of these playoff teams, or maybe even I guess college is over now, so they could bring that person in. But I wonder if that person's still out there coaching, and are they just bringing people in to sort of get us to talk about it?
Yeah.
Will they think they make that hire before the Super Bowl's over, though?
Not unless, probably to get to work on who they want to draft, free agency, who they want to target, all those things. But, unless their guy is still coaching, right? I'm sure they have some candidates in mind that they want to interview from, the 4 remaining teams. But I've always been a big advocate of like bringing somebody up. But I know, and this is a special circumstance, kind of when you lose your guy and the staff's only been together 1 year. Is it like, do you give a chance to one of the guys that was retained? I don't know, but because you figure when you do add someone, there's some people that are going to be coming in. I think that's just the way it is. They want their guys and know their strategy and how they want to, teach it.
I see you guys filling up the chat. There's Isaac. He says he likes Fraley a lot. Ray over here in the chat says they might want Fraley and Grant Udiniski. Who's that? Yeah, both working together as co-OCs. Who's Grant Udiniski? Is that a name that you know? Udiniski? Udiniski?
I don't know ski. But I trust you. I trust you. Is it Isaac that said that? Ray. Ray. Shout out to Ray. Co-coordinators, I don't like it.
Okay.
I'm guessing one would be passing coordinator, the other one would be run game coordinator, and then together, like, who's going to call the plays? And there's a difference in philosophy because there's two different perspectives. So I don't see how you could coexist in that world.
Cameron checking in the chat says, watching from Lakewood, also picking up daughter from school in the car line right now. Multiple listeners in the pickup line right now, Lofa.
Hey, Fathers of the Year, we appreciate you.
Well, we were debating what time of the day to do this. I think we nailed it, Katie, right? During school pickup time.
Yep.
Right.
Everybody's got a chance to pull the car over, listen to the boys on all day. I like it. Good stuff. Thanks, guys. Thanks for checking in. Keep filling up the chat. Look, it's for me, it's who's going to run the ball. Who's going to stick to it, right? And for you, I think it's how are they going to run that ball, right? Like you want to see those polling schemes. You want to see, speak to kind of the style that you want to see. And is that something that you think Fraley would be doing?
Absolutely. I mean, with the amount of ball he has played and then coached to this point, he's seen and experienced everything. And I think as times change, right, and everybody wants to go to this RPO where the run game is the least of most defenses' worries. Once you start pulling guys and use the gap trap and power and counter and like have to make run gap responsibilities for a defense change at a given second, now you find out who's actually coaching the defense well and disciplined. Like, oh, okay, now we just got to go over a gap because everything has to change, and it can't change for the D linemen unless there's two pullers. Now they have enough time to like track and go over the top, which we saw the young buck. I'm already spacing on his name. Texas.
Which
help me out, chat.
What?
D lineman. Yeah,
Murphy.
Murph. Yeah, Murph. There we go. Yeah. He tracked over the top in college twice, 2 or 3 times. That's incredible instinct. That's some Michael Bennett shit, man. That's knowing the game and what they're trying to do, and having like a pre-snap recognition of the linemen are set back. So it's either a pass or a pull, right? And so I think Fraley definitely has all the concepts. And then, when you really find out how great a coach is when they look at their personnel and maybe a ton of changes aren't made, right? But they get the most out of these guys. And, I thought Grubb did that against Arizona and a couple other games, and then just kind of went back to, the old habits of like, let's just air it out.
Right. Those short passes where they expect to break a tackle and break them long. But I mean, JSN's great at that, but you got to have everybody on stage.
Everybody better be able to do that, right?
Yeah,
if you're going to,
yeah. Ray over here in the chat says that Udiniski, I'm sorry, is the 28-year-old Vikings OC assistant, I guess. And the Seahawks have done a co-coordinator thing before. Isaac says, if you Udiniski, you Winski.
I like that.
Because we'd have too much fun with his name.
Isaac, we'll make that shirt if we do hire him, and you called it, man. That'll be for you, brother. You Winski.
Shout out to Chris Anderson watching while headed to the gym. Go get those gains, our guy. All right. Nice.
Attaboy.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, bet online. I looked down at my notes and Katie pointed at it. So I just switched immediately. You're right, Katie. It is time for bet online. BetOnline.ag, everybody. Use their web browser or their mobile app, available in any app store. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts. You got the NFL playoffs going on. They got all kinds of parlays over there, from the normal kind with like 3 or 4, or the McNasty kind with like 17.
Yeah. Big payouts.
Check it out. It's betonline.ag, everybody. Use our promo code
Believe, BLEAV,
to get a welcome bonus when you sign up and put in your first deposit at betonline.ag. If you're just joining the chat, welcome to this Thursday live edition. Thanks for being here. Start checking in with where you're watching from as your first comment, and then take it from there.
And then share it with a friend.
Share it with a friend. That's right. Copy the link, send it to a family member or a friend, and have them join our family. That'd be a lot of fun. Lofa, the news around the league. Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn. Take your pick. Both coordinators from the Detroit Lions are gone. Everybody knew that would happen. I just don't think people thought it'd be this early. Which one is the more intriguing hire to you? Which one you want to start with?
Intriguing or better? Like, what am I being asked here? Because my mind goes 2 different ways.
That's interesting. Yeah. Intriguing.
The Bears, taking Johnson. I just didn't, understand not running the ball, but this is probably why the Bears took him. Like, hey, we got Caleb, we got, Odunze, Keenan Allen, more, like we have all this talent. So let's get the most out of that, rather than run the ball, which is the worst thing to do. But, they got their man. Good for them.
Well, like you just mentioned it, Williams and Odunze, those 2 young guys, first round draft picks, right? Like a lot potentially going to be invested in them. You might as well go offensive side of the ball. It's interesting to get someone from your from your division rival, though, isn't it?
Well, that's, I've always thought that was a great strategy or tactic, is, addition and subtraction for the other team, for the guys that you go get. Now you have some inside information as to how they like to attack, especially offensively. You look at Detroit's offense and the numbers they were able to put up with, all that talent. But, I'll keep reminding everybody, they had 2 running backs, one over 1,000, and Montgomery would have been easily over 1,000 also if he didn't get hurt. Mm-hmm. So, we'll see what happens. But Williams and that passing game, their best friend would be a good running game to open everything up. And now if you have to go one-on-one with all 3 of those guys, you're in trouble.
What did you guys think of the hire of Ben Johnson at the Chicago Bears and new head coach? I'm talking to the chat here. Fill up the chat. Thumbs up for good hire. Thumbs down for bad hire. What do you think? Put it in.
Thumb sideways for you don't know.
Okay, here's this, though. He takes the job, and in his opening presser, I think it was his opening presser because he's got the orange tie on and the suit looking fresh, right? He just, this comment, he's like, in this division, we got Dan Campbell and we got O'Connell, right? The guy from the Vikings. And he's like, and those 2 guys are candidates for coach of the year every year. And then he's like, and then you got LaFleur, who I just like beating twice a year. It's like, what? Is he taking a shot? Or are they like boys and it's like some clever trash talk? Is he getting the division rivalry heated up already? Like, is it a Chicago Packers thing? I mean, just taking shots.
Yeah. I mean, to not say that, LaFleur is a coach of the year candidate every year with what he's done over there. That was the first shot, but the second one beating him twice a year. Yeah, I got to believe that'll be bulletin board material.
Yeah, I mean, basically he was saying we did it in Detroit. We're going to do it again here. And, man, everybody can just go ahead and circle those 2 games next year as ones to watch, because if the Packers just go in and steamroll them twice.
Oh, they're not going to let up either. Like,
no.
That's one where you run the score up.
Yeah. Oh, man. Keep filling up the chat. Good hire. Bad hire. Ben Johnson in Chicago. Just one emoji is all it takes. How about Aaron Glenn at the Jets. Is this the one that you think is better then, since this is your least intriguing one, or less?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, the other one was intriguing. So to me, it was intriguing means interesting, right? This one was good, great. Like they got their man. Unbelievable what he's been able to do. He had 9 starters, ladies and gentlemen, out. Including MVP candidate Aiden Hutchinson, who still finished. I think he only played 5 games, had 7 sacks. Like he's still probably in the top 20 of sacks, which is outrageous for only playing 5 games. All the other guys, and they just kept cycling guys in, taking guys from. And I've heard other coaches like complain, like, "Well, we're playing with guys that they weren't in the NFL, and those, or they're on the special teams now, and then we're bringing special teams players up to be starters." Didn't matter. Didn't seem to matter for Aaron Glenn. So no excuses. He got the job done, and I think that's a great hire.
Yeah. Is there pressure though, being a Jet alum? It's kind of cool, full circle moment for him. He's drafted by him, so now to coach for him, it's almost like a college thing. A guy coming back to coach where he played.
I think it means more to him, right? Mm-hmm. And I think they understood that in making this decision. Like that was an added bonus of getting him. And he's just tough from everything I see, and he gets guys to buy in, and they were flying around on defense, and that's what you need. And they have some good pieces over there. So, excited to see what he does. But yeah, I think, of course, you want one of your own eventually, right? To at least have a chance at it, and because he knows your way, right?
Well, so now, but my question though with the Jets is, so they go defense, but didn't they have a defensive coach in Saleh? Didn't he sort of more lean on the defensive side? So now they go defense again, but they got Aaron Rodgers there. I mean, what's this hire mean for Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know. I mean, the last time I heard anything from Aaron, I think at the end of your press conference, was like he didn't even know if he wants to play next year. But if he did, he said he wants to go back to the Jets. So they'll sit down and they'll talk, right? And then try to figure it out. And I'm sure he's going to have offers, even if he doesn't, stay with the Jets. And, I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. So, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, they did have a good defense. And statistically, they held in. They were pretty good with, the lack of complimentary ball they were getting from the offense. It seemed like times the offense was going and the defense didn't, show up that day. And then other times defense was just causing havoc and the offense just didn't score enough. But that's a multitude of things. That's, disconnect at the very top, probably amongst the coaches, between the coaches and the players, whether it's scheme, whether it's a number of things. That's what happens.
Do you think that Aaron Rodgers was consulted at all about who he'd like to see get hired?
I mean, that would be a signal to me that he's coming back if so, but I don't think so. I think they, the brass got together and they're like, hey, we're just gonna, we're gonna go with one of our own and, have him lead us.
Well, they probably couldn't get a hold of him down in wherever he is, the hut in the jungle, what a sweat lodge.
No cell service, cell service,
quiet retreat wherever he's at, churning his own butter, whatever they're doing down there, whatever. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Which one do you think which team, Bears, Jets, just because those are the 2 latest hires, which team has a better year next year?
I got to go with the Jets. Just taking everything in consideration. They have talent, they'll figure it out, but division wise, I mean, we just saw the other 3 teams in the NFC North have double-digit wins. Like that's not an easy road to, that's a gauntlet right there.
Yeah.
I know they didn't do well in the playoffs, but they still all had double-digit wins except for the Bears.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That'd be a lot to turn around just within the division. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I see you, Linnea. What's up, San Diego? Shout out. I see you. Who's going to have the better year next year? I'm asking the chat. Put in a jet emoji for the Jets. Put in a bear emoji for the Bears. Let's get involved over here. I agree with you, though. It's just because of the division. It could be the Jets coming out with the better season. Katie's holding up a Magic Mind.
Ooh.
You guys heard us to talk about this already, but here's some Magic Mind. Katie's got hers.
It is magic.
Here, prove it. Get your
Yeah.
hand over here. It's like I'm talking to someone who's not even there. I
you
promise
go.
she's there. We both have our Magic Mind here. Let's do them on the air, shall we?
Ooh,
Cheers it
little
up.
shots.
Yeah, let's do some shots, everybody.
I would-
Usually, I would not be doing shots to clear the mind, Lofa, but these are shots for the mind, aren't they?
Reclaim your brain.
Yeah.
To each his own. Yeah. You get a little mental wealth up in there
Delicious.
and health.
You know what that tastes like?
It tastes good.
Do you remember vitamin water?
Yeah.
And they had the like orange one. It was like the vitamin C vitamin water.
It's
Like,
really
It
good.
tastes like sunshine.
This tastes so good. It's
Ooh.
got like some citrus on the front, almost like maybe like a little grapefruit kind of taste to it for me.
But then
It's a little sweet.
juice.
And it also doesn't have like that
Yeah.
bad aftertaste that most,
It's delicious.
Yum.
is really good, man.
I drank all of mine already, or I'd do one with you.
Starting the year, right? Like starting the year, I was getting a little burnt out, thinking about going into the year, thinking about all the things I got to accomplish, all the things I want to do, need to focus. Magic Mind came along at the perfect time. You take these ones during the day, then they got a nighttime one that you take at night. It's a 24-hour cycle type thing. It gets you all going and gets you focused, and it really does work. I take it with coffee. I still drink the coffee in the morning too. And it clears you up, man. Makes you feel good. I know you love it, but also your family's enjoying it as well, aren't they?
Oh, we already ordered some with the
Yeah.
all day, promo code, which
Yep.
you got to explain that one because
Well,
Rachel
actually,
ordered for me.
Here's
She ordered for me.
I've heard this from several listeners also. It's not a promo code. It's the full link that you got to go to. So it's it's magicmind.com/ all caps all day Jan, as in January. So it's magicmind.com/ all day Jan. And that last part is in all caps. And you go there, you get 45% off the our Magic Mind bundle with that link. Man, do the nighttime, do the daytime. It's 24 hours around the clock. This is one of those great companies that's doing everything right. They donate a percentage of every bottle sold to charities that work with the homeless and people who are having, housing crises and things like that. They also stand by their product with 100% confidence. No questions asked, 100% refund within 100 days of buying. So if you're not satisfied, if you don't feel it, if you don't feel like you like it, they'll stand by it and give you your money back. You can also pick it up in stores if you'd like to. They're in Sprouts, they're in HEB, Central Market, and Erewhon. Yeah, check them out. Magic Mind, everybody. This stuff is great.
Magical.
It's magic. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel better, everybody. Pick up some Magic Mind. Checking in on the chat here. I don't see a lot of Jets or Bears. People got to pump those in there. Chris says the Bears close to winning plenty of games this season. That's true. They did lose a lot of games by, I think, less than one score.
Close. Yeah, one score.
Yeah, one score.
Yeah.
A couple digits here and there, single digit losses and things like that. So that's a good point, Chris. They might have been on the brink of some of those wins. How about some other jobs out there, man? How about the Cowboys? Nobody seems to want that job. Or if they can't figure out who they want.
Why do you think, Brett?
Well, is his name Jerry? Because that'd be the only thing I can think of. Other than that, you got America's team. You got all the the eyeballs on you, all the notoriety. It's like a swaggy job. You got a beautiful stadium. You got good players, I think, for the most part. You got some good pieces, but I don't know.
Yeah, this is why I said Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, is probably the only one that could go in there and reason with Jerry and just say, hey, man, look, this is how you build a team. And it's tough. You got to do it respectfully. And I know Prime will. He has a way with words, right? He's charismatic. He was a hell of a player, possibly the greatest to ever play, in my opinion, because of He's the only one I ever seen talk shit 24/7 and back it up every single time he went out there. That is hard to do, but he did it. So I think he could reason with Jerry and just explain, and together they could find, a way to win, to get back to when Dion was playing for them. Right.
Yeah, man. I think it'd just be fun because you guys know I love WWE. I love my sports entertainment, and the entertainment side of Dion becoming the head coach and working with Jerry, and the whole thing would just be, I mean, he'd be coming in the big cowboy hat, just like at Colorado, but just doing it again.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun.
But you know why that makes even more sense is just because, there's a lot of Cowboys fans out there from the 90s when they were the last time they really won, and they're holding on. And that's why you see all the memes, right? You bring in Dion, that brings a ton that aren't Cowboys fans to the Cowboys. So
Sure.
From a business standpoint, it makes even more sense. And by sense, I mean dollars.
By the way, the link, we just put the link to Magic Mind in the chat there, everybody. So just go there, click right there directly. It's somewhere over here.
Would have been nice if you did that for me before I ordered.
magicmind.com/alldayjan. It's in the comments right there. So click on it and get yourself some 45% off of your bundle. I just think Dion's fun. And isn't there something to be said for playing fun and fast and loud and flashy and confident and, all the things that Coach Prime would bring to, these players that, some of these young superstars, that's what they want to do. They want to play with flash and all of that.
Wait, the last word you said in all those adjectives, confidence.
Yeah.
That's everything. That's everything. That's what good coaches instill in all their players at any level, from down, peewees all the way to the NFL. And he does that, right? You see what he did at Colorado. I don't think they even had a win before he went there, right? The season before, or maybe they had one, and then just turned it around. So, and now you're dealing with NFL players, and I think he can connect, kind of like Pete. He can connect to any generation, and that's what you have to do to build the culture, right? Because you have this wider range of ages still in the NFL, and everyone's going to respect his opinion and decisions.
The other jobs that are still open, the Jags, the Saints, the Raiders, and the Cowboys. There are 4 jobs still open. Teams might be waiting till the Super Bowl is over. But my question to you and to the chat is, which one of those jobs would you want least?
Are you waiting for me? Or are we waiting for the chat?
The chat also.
Least?
It's kind of hard.
Okay,
Yeah.
What's hard? You tell me, because I already know which one I would want the least.
See, I think that I could work with Jerry. I think that I'm the kind of maniac who's so insane that maybe that speaks a lot to me, but I think I could make it work. I think I could handle it. I think that we would grow a fondness for each other, and I think it'd be fine. So I think I'm not going to put the Cowboys as the least in there because of Jerry. I think I'd just go Jags, just because they never sort of have all the tools and all. I don't know. It's just historically, I don't know if you get everything that you need as a coach, and I'm just not sure if just as a franchise. The Saints, that job would be fun as hell. I love New Orleans. That'd be great food. Great nightlife, tons of fun. Superdome is rocking. Good fans. I like New Orleans. I think that'd be a fun job. And then the Raiders. The Vegas of it all would be fun, but there again, the ownership group. It's a little, just not really sure about the franchise there.
Aren't they still paying? I think they're now paying 3 coaches to not coach. Okay, so the pessimistic side of me says I'm not going to actually get to implement my strategy and get the players that I want to get, kind of like the same with Dallas. But even worse is they're not even going to give me more than a year to develop any players. And, the optimist in me says, okay, well, they're going to pay me not to coach after 1 year. But, most coaches go into coaching jobs hoping that they coach for a long time. And that, so I'm just sitting here as a guy on the couch saying, okay, well, I went in there 1 year and it didn't work out. You know what?
Yeah.
You can pay me $3 or $4 million a year to sit back on this couch.
Yeah, Cameron in the chat says Jerry seems like a cantankerous fart that would be like my way or the highway, Dion, like that kind of thing. I think you're right. However, if you win, then that solves everything, and then you can do what you want to do. I think a lot of people take that job and then they start kind of trying to do it Jerry's way in order to please Jerry, and that's where you can't go there. You got to just go in doing your own thing, and then hopefully you win, because I think if you win, he'll let you do your own thing. But if you don't win,
guns, yeah,
out,
stick to your guns. And Texans love guns.
Yes, they do. But that's why I think the coach has to have that big personality to match Jerry. I think maybe that's why I think I'm crazy enough to do it. Maybe, but like if you look back historically, I mean, Jerry Johnson. I mean, huge personality. Yep. Huge, an ego just as big as Jerry's, and so even though it was, I'm sure it came to a head.
Yeah, it was a love-hate relationship,
but I think that's what you have to do.
Yeah, and if Jimmy Johnson stayed there, like they win several more, because Switzer, who was a great coach in college, and then he came right up, and I think it was actually still pretty impressive that he won one with somebody else's team, so to speak. I don't want to, throw any shade at him, because staying at the top is hard to do. And if you can come in and keep that thing going like he did, then shout out, to Switzer too. But I think if Johnson's there, they win like 2 or 3 more.
Yeah. Shout out to the chat for being here. Shout out to all the viewers for logging in middle of your day on a Thursday, hanging out with Lofa and I. We see the number going up. Keep copying and pasting the link. Send it to your friends. Let them know that we're on. AZ Hawker here in the chat says Cowboys as the least desirable job amongst those.
I respect that.
What about Pete? And what about the rumors that Pete might be interviewing for the DC job of the 49ers, or that the 49ers might want him as the DC? I thought they had Saleh down there. If Pete puts on a Niners jacket, I don't know if I'd ever stop vomiting. I don't know. What? I mean, I wouldn't begrudge him a job, and he's a human being. He's allowed to work, but come on.
Well, I mean, he coached back in the day over there, so it kind of be a full circle moment. I really thought, and I still am sticking with it, that the Raiders job, he wants to be on the West Coast. I thought if he did go to the Patriots before they hired Vrabel, I thought Kraft would call him up and hey, but another full circle moment. One of the organizations that let him go after a couple years, and so I want to see Pete coach again, because I think the biggest thing that's missed with all these hires and all the excitement about guys that are great coordinators, and no disrespect to them, but now you have to be the head coach that delegates responsibility and knows how to build a team and how to build the culture, more importantly. And that's something that Pete is an expert at.
Man, Mike Henderson in the chat, he's got his magic mind kicked in already. Says the Jags job is the worst because you have to play 2 games in London a year.
That is a great point. And one of those is a home game. It's considered a home game. It's yes, look, I know we're trying to grow globally, but it's what are we doing?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you take that Jags job, you could be the head coach when they finally move that team overseas. It's going to happen.
They're going to hire Durden, our guy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I bet you Shai Khan plucks him. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They're going to let him go back home.
Yeah.
And take over the world of football.
What's up, Alyssa? We see Alyssa. She's checking in from Yelm, Washington. Do you know where that is, Lofa?
Yelm. Hell yeah. Yelm put out 2 of the best football players I ever seen just a year ago. 2 linebackers, just absolute monsters. One's at Oregon and one's at UCLA now. And man, I really wanted them to go to SC.
Well, just for all you that might not know, Alyssa says it's 20 minutes from Olympia, about an hour south of Seattle. Okay, producer Katie, just in case you don't know where Yelm is, that's where she is. What's up, Alyssa?
Stop yelling at me.
Thanks for joining the chat. No.
Yes.
Nope.
Yep, I like it.
Want a show.
Good plays.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for watching. Keep sending the link around. We'll be here taking your comments and questions for as long as you want to be here. I don't really have much more in terms of headlines around the league. This just brings me to the games this weekend and previewing those. I want to start on the NFC side because we kind of have been bringing this up throughout the year that the Commanders are sort of the Seahawks East, so to speak, with Dan Quinn and Bobby Wagner. But it goes deeper than that. Did you know?
Oh, yeah.
Bobby Ingram. Is that a name you're familiar with, Seahawk fans? Bobby Ingram, wide receiver. One of the, just ultimate possession receivers, Mr. Third Down, Mr. Reliable, Mr. Hasselbeck would throw it before he even turned around. Eyeballs in the back of his head. Penn State, one of my favorite receivers of all time, number 84, Bobby Ingram. He's on the staff over there with the commies. Did you know that, Lofa?
Oh, I knew it. Yeah. Beast.
How come I was not made
Absolute
aware?
beast.
Okay. How about this one? What about Daryl Tapp, DT?
My guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew he was over there.
Yep.
There's like 8 of them over there, right?
I'm having to Google it because now off the top of my head, I can't remember all of them, but I looked at all of them.
Well, so Quinn, Ballore, Norton,
Ballore.
Bobby, John Glenn. There's like 5 more too. Izzo.
Yeah. John Glenn, astronaut. Also, former Seahawks. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Former Seahawks coach. Yeah, he's over there. Quinn, like you said. What was the other one you just said? Darn it! I wanted to pause on
Izzo.
Too fast. Izzo. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many. Daryl Tapp, Bobby Ingram, Bobby Wagner. Yeah, those are all the names I said. Ballore. Yeah, like there's still 4 more. That are coaches.
Norton.
Oh, Kenny Norton, yeah.
What the heck? I cannot believe I was not informed of this earlier on. I'm rooting for them so hard now.
You didn't know?
I'm rooting for them now, man. Now I'm just all in. I'm all in. I'm all in on the Washington commies over the.
Nord could be a good coach for Jerry.
Oh,
yeah. Now you think about it, but okay. Back to the matchup. Sorry, I'm going backwards.
Well, I'm just saying. So my rooting interest now, I definitely am on the side of the Commanders. However, do we think that they can win?
Yeah, because the last time these 2 teams matched up, we watched them win against the Eagles, and I was baffled by what I saw. More so out of Philly in that game. You know, what I did not expect. Saquon rushes for 100 yards in the first quarter, ladies and gentlemen. Jalen Hurts gets hurt at the end of the first quarter, gets knocked out. So Pickett comes in, Kenny Pickett, and they throw the ball 24 times the rest of the game when Saquon had 100 in the first quarter.
Doesn't make any sense.
Like, it was like watching the Lions game all over again, right?
Yeah.
And the craziest thing was Washington gave the ball up 5 times. They had 5 turnovers. They got, I think, 2 back. So it was a -3 for the day. Anytime there's 3 turnovers to none, but 5 to 2, because every time it just takes a little air out of the sail. Just like, oh, God, defense, get back out there. But they kept responding and they just kept believing. And like, when you get to this part of the season, it comes down to who believes more. And man, they have that going for them. They have figured that part out.
Who's the chat got? You guys got Washington or you got Philly in this game? You could put in who you're rooting for, or you could also put in who you think is going to win the game. It could be the same team. But it's in Philly. So going to be a hostile crowd there. We know what Philly's going to bring. I think the whole game is going to come down to Jalen Hurts. Can he throw the ball, and can he be the quarterback they need him to be? Because they got the pieces. I mean, Saquon, he's basically the whole team, but he can't do it all.
Okay, to that I say, is Philly more hostile than what Washington just walked into in Detroit? Like,
that's true.
The team off a bye, the whole city rocking because this is our year. We're the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
and I just wonder. Don't put the ball if you're Washington, put the ball in Hurts' hand. Just load the box, put your best coverage on AJ Brown, and you have to take Saquon out of it and then make Hurts win the game. And if you're Philly, you have to hand the ball off to Saquon 30 times.
Well, and to your point,
last week,
yeah. Well, and to your point, like, why even throw the ball when Saquon Barkley running the ball is like most teams throwing the ball? He's running a 70-yard touchdown. I'll bet you he has more long touchdown runs than some teams have long touchdown throws this season as a running back. So it's not as if he's that, like, only 4 yards in a cloud of dust type. You're handing the ball off to him. He's a home run threat every time. Why would you ever stop giving him the ball?
Yeah. And now I'm going to go opposite with what Philly has to do is take the ball out of Jaden Daniels' hands. Do not. Because anytime he has to ad-lib, improvise, it results in explosive play, whether he's running or he scrambles, and then before he crosses the line, he just throws a seed to McLaurin, and the guy's like, that's not – you don't want to chase him around all day. Brian Robinson is a very good, capable running back, but I would be in the too high shell the whole game. And if they walk it down, okay, we're okay with that. Like, because Washington hasn't relied on Brian Robinson, so I'm willing to guess they won't give it to him 20, 30 times, even if they have success early.
Johnny Langston's in the chat. He says Commanders. AZ Hawker says Commanders. Melissa says she's got the Commanders. A lot of people taking the Commanders. Thanks for joining, everybody, by the way. And we got some new people joining. Check in. Where are you watching from? Are you guys still in line picking up your kids at school? Or have you finally made it back home and parked the car safely? And did you tune back in? Thanks for being here, though, everybody. Mike says, growing up in Auburn. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Johnny's got a super chat
big
here.
Skins fan, so he's rooting for Washington. Oh, growing up was a Washington fan, so he's rooting for Washington. I see you, Mike.
Cool.
What's that, Katie?
Johnny Langston has a super chat.
Nice.
Happy Thursday. With Detroit losing both their coordinators, how do you feel they adjust with two major losses on staff?
Good question.
So this is where you bring your next in line up. You're always, if you're a good head coach, you're expecting to lose your coordinators within a year, 2 years, and you're prepared with, everybody that learns underneath. There's going to be a couple guys that they go above and beyond. They know every detail of, what the coordinator likes to do, and then probably has some wrinkles as to how to get better. And so I expect it to be someone brought up, or it would be someone that worked under Johnson and Glenn that is elsewhere. Like they were the linebacker coach for Glenn for years. And then, they went somewhere else. And now you're like, hey, come on over here and just be our coordinator.
If you guys want to hear Katie read your super chat, fill up the super chat or enter. How do they do it? Submit a super chat or whatever. And then it'll come up on the screen and Katie's voice will read your super chat.
And your handle shows up.
Yeah, your handle shows up and all that stuff. Thank you, Johnny boy, for putting that one in there. Let's see. Linnea's got the Commanders. AZ Hawker checking in from Flagstaff, by the way. Thanks for putting in your location. Nice.
Probably nice and warm there.
Yeah, listen, I'm rooting for the Commanders. It'd be cool to see a rookie quarterback go to the Super Bowl. Still not a rookie quarterback to start a Super Bowl in NFL history, so there's some history on the line there if they can take care of business. I do think that Philly will be a more hostile place, just to go back for a second, than Detroit, because those Detroit Lions fans just their wind was taken out of them as soon as it was over. Like those shots of them just sort of sitting like almost dumbfounded, mouths hanging open like an Eli Manning facial expression. Just just nothing to say. You could probably hear a pin drop in there when it started going bad. If it starts going bad for the Eagles in Philly, they just get louder.
Yeah.
More hostile, more angry.
This is true.
Yeah.
I played there. I think what's the weather going to be like? Anybody know? Anybody in the chat? Because that was a very difficult game for both teams, people slipping, but this is an advantage that Philly now has over Washington who's coming to their house, right? So, there's going to be some adjustment made on Philly's side, and hopefully DQ like Holmgren always did. You better be wearing the right footwear. If the slick gloves, if it's snowing and there's any kind of rain, like get rid of the slick gloves, put on the leather, or even go bare hands. Like that's like Wayne Corbett.
Yeah,
back in the day.
I tried to make this point on the podcast a million years ago, but watching what's his name, Andrews, drop that ball for the Ravens, I'm telling you, if he was not wearing gloves, he would have made the catch. Because sometimes when it hits those sticky gloves, the ball like stops, and you can't, like, sometimes the ball needs to rotate like a little bit, or like you need to just kind of, like it's too immediate of a stop, and then when it bounces, he can't like readjust. I'm telling you, if he was not wearing gloves, he would have caught that ball.
For me, it's the old school, what the fuck were those things called? Newmans or something? Those things were old school, like leather, and when it rained or got wet, they had more grip. The new, like, super shiny gloves that, guys are catching with like 3 fingers, just like, those ones, when it rains, just, and if you looked at the Rams jerseys, there was a lot of body catches that were gone. I don't know if this was the same for the Ravens, but the Rams have that little bit of gloss that kind of looks like that same material.
Yeah.
And like Nakua and some of the guys, it was slipping out of catches that they always make.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to take the gloves off, go old school, man. Just put a little tape on there, Just tape up the knuckles. Whatever.
Tape works. It does.
Super chat. Katie's got a super chat. Go ahead.
Flying Clutchman says Hank Fraley needs to be the offensive coordinator. Lofa played against him.
Oh, yeah.
I did. Flying Clutchman. Thank you. Yeah. And we talked about a little, like in the first couple of minutes of Hawks news is just, tough, always awesome when an offensive line coach, or a coordinator is a former offensive lineman. Like, they know, especially like he was a center. He knows every detail of every position.
Yeah,
right?
they say the offensive linemen are considered some of the smartest guys on the team, right? Or like that's a
dude. Do you know how fast your mental processing has to be? All the things, the snap count, the play, the rotation, because the defenders can move, and so they'll stunt and show one way, and on the snap you have to be ready to pivot, and like they might show here, and then all of a sudden the pressure's coming over there, and we're sliding over, right? So like it. And they all have to be communicating together to get that done. So, and the center knows they're like the quarterback. They know everything. And they call out the protections too, for the most part, until a quarterback is old enough and, has seen enough to do so.
Michael M says, howdy from Japan land.
What?
Really?
Nice.
What's it like tomorrow?
We're worldwide.
Tell us. You're watching from the future. That's awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks to everyone for being here. Sorry. That viewer number is going up. Lofa, copy the link, everybody. Send it to your friends, family. Let them know we're on right now. If you missed the beginning of the show, check in. Where are you watching from? Get involved in the chat for this episode. Lofa, to me, I think I'm rooting for the Commanders. And you know what? I'm going to say that I think they win this one. And I think they win it because they don't have as much pressure as the Eagles. Jaden Daniels is a rookie. They're already playing with house money. The whole season for them was house money. Nobody thought they'd do what they were doing this year. So I think they can just go out there, play loose, play fun. Terry McLaurin, best receiver in the NFL that didn't even get mentioned yet in this conversation. And I think they can go in there and get it done. I checked the weather, by the way, for us. Sunday in Philly, you got a high of 38, a low of 24, but just cloudy, no precip. So it's going to be cold. It'll be cold, but
well. Yeah, I mean it's cold over in DC, right? But I just haven't seen many games where they, had to take those factors into consideration. But yeah, I like what you're saying. For me, it's just all about belief. And man, if it's close at the end of the game, it's going to be the Commanders. If it's a one score going into the fourth quarter, it's going to be the Commanders.
Let's go. All right, good. Also, I want to watch everybody in Philly cry. That'll be fun. That's they're fun to watch when they lose. All right, good. Well, how about on the AFC side then? Are we going to get a Bills, Commanders, Washington, kind of an old school, that early 90s rematch in a Super Bowl? Or will the Chiefs, piss everybody in America off and get in there in some sort of boring 1-point fashion at the end? Are we just going to have the same old Chiefs again? Or are the Bills finally going to do it?
Kind of what you just said on that last game, the pressure. I think the pressure's solely on Allen and the Bills, right? Where everybody would think, oh, well, the Chiefs are going for their third straight. The pressure's on them. No, they already know. They have so much experience that they won't be outside themselves, and they'll just, hey, this is just another Sunday for us. So that bodes well for the Chiefs. Allen and them, they think about this, and we talked about it last time on the live. Baltimore gave the ball up 3 times and didn't get a single turnover off of the Bills. That's what I said. They needed to play a clean game. Stats weren't crazy for Allen and the guys, but they played a clean game, and it still came down to a 2-point conversion, right?
Yeah.
Like overtime, they were almost in overtime.
Yeah.
They're going to have to beat them convincingly, the Chiefs. You have to go in there and you have to beat them, because you know what? Like, as much as it sucks to say, the refs have played a major role in some of the Chiefs' wins. This is obvious at this point. It's not, speculation. Even to some of the point where the officials, after reviewing it, they're like, oh yeah, that wasn't really a hit to the head or a penalty. It's just like, oh, cool. Now that we can't do anything about it, thank you. So you have to go in and be perfect in terms of not turning the ball over, and you have a chance. And like, you're going to need to score on one of those turnovers, because the Chiefs, they know how to respond to adversity.
This is where I think having Andy Reid as their coach really puts them possibly over the top in terms of like his experience level, obviously second to none in the NFL right now, but also he's a Jedi mind master, because somehow they've figured out a way to put the pressure on the Bills. Yeah. Like you said at the beginning, the pressure should not be on the Bills. The pressure should be on the Kansas City Chiefs trying to three-peat, but it's not, because that's how cool Andy Reid is. And I know that there's some like sort of PR team, some sort of, because the way that a 2-time defending champion is flying under the radar, and that the whole story is about, will Josh Allen, and the Bills do what the Bills usually do, is masterful. And it's got to be intentional also from the Chiefs. And I think that's what you get with a coach like that. Beyond the football of it all, he knows how to not only get like the public perception to help his team out, but then that also helps his team, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but it's not anything specifically he's doing. It's just being calm, collected, never wavering. Like, like some of these coaches, they'll be up at one point and they're already down. Well, your team's going to go and respond off of that energy. And so, you couldn't tell on his press conferences, you couldn't tell if you were just watching with no sound, if he won or lost. And that's a sign of an incredible leader. And so this resonates with all of his players, and they take that, it's contagious. They take that mentality to the game. So, and it's really, I think, why they're under the radar is because they're not winning by like 20 like they did several years ago when Mahomes was putting up these ridiculous numbers. Teams game plan, and they study film, and they try to make you as normal as possible. And he's still found a way to do, clutch things and everything. But it hasn't been the story we've seen, and that's why they're under the radar. But they're still a great team.
Who do you guys have in this one? And this is where I think I'm assuming here that the All Day family and the viewers and the commenters, I'm assuming that most of them will be rooting for the Bills. But does that mean that you actually think the Bills will win the game? This is where your answer might be the two different teams, because my heart, my soul is rooting for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. But I just think the Chiefs at home in the playoffs going for 3 in a row. Patrick Mahomes, the commish is going to be there. Taylor Swift is going to be there. Taylor Swift's mom will probably be there. Caitlin Clark will probably be there. Who do you think else Taylor Swift? Blake Lively, maybe her friend, or BFF, right? Mahomes has got a new baby too. Shout out, congrats!
Oh, right on, good for him.
But I don't see Buffalo coming out of there with a win.
It's tough. Much like the other scenario I was saying, I'm rooting for the Commanders, but I am taking the Commanders. I'm just going to say, you know what? I'm taking them. I think they find make it. But in this one, I'm rooting for the Bills. I don't know if 2 road teams win in the championship game. Like, one could drop, but that would be wild if 2 of them dropped. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one, unfortunately. Yeah. But rooting for the Bills. The little 10-year-old loaf is rooting for the Bills.
Yeah, man.
My favorite player of all time is Thurman Thomas, everybody, in case you're wondering why.
Does Allen need it more than Mahomes? He does. Yeah.
Absolutely. Just like Lamar needed it last week.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Needing it more is different than wanting it more and, doing the things that you need to make sure to get that win. I mean, he needs it, though, doesn't he?
Yes. Like, you're 1 game away from the big one, right? And so not looking ahead, but he needs it, right? Just like if it was Lamar here in this game and not Josh, he would need it, right? Mahomes, and I think that's why Mahomes plays so freely. He's like, I don't need it. My legacy is already cemented. He's already first ballot Hall of Fame, which is wild, right? I don't think he's even in the double-digit years yet, and he's first ballot Hall of Fame. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, and he seems like one of those guys who finds motivation in a lot of different places. And the idea that Lamar and Josh are sort of the 2 front runners for MVP. You got Saquon there probably as well. But I think Lamar and Josh are clearly the front runners. If Mahomes, if he can take out Josh now, I mean, that's motivation for him right there. Hey, you guys aren't even talking about me. And, look what I might be able to go out and do against these guys. So, or, not against Lamar, but here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Against the D. Yeah. Because, I mean, everybody pits the quarterbacks against each other. Who's going to outdo who? And then it's like, okay, well, you have to consider the defenses because they're not even playing each other. I mean, it would be cool if it was a celebrity death match like that. But so, we'll see. But they better put Jaden Daniels in this conversation, man.
Yeah, that'd be fun if they did. A lot of people saying they're rooting for the Bills. I don't see a lot of people making a pick on the game, though. I think everybody's just scared that the Chiefs are going to do what the Chiefs do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they could. This is where I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs come out and play a perfect game and the Bills are a little tense, or maybe took too big of a breath after beating Baltimore, right? Like, we got over the hump because they couldn't get out of divisional. It's like, okay, the standards have been raised, but they haven't been to the top yet. And so I could see just not relaxation, but players with different mentalities taking either road going forward to this game. Like it's the biggest game. And then the other one's just like, we beat Baltimore, like we're good. And like over there in the Chiefs, they're like, no, this is just what we do. Like you're the next team up. And
it seems like down. They're like, you got to watch out for that being more fearful of losing than the desire to win. It's like they're just afraid to lose. We just don't want to be the team that messes it up.
Can't play like that. Yes, mix it up and get after it.
Yeah. Michael, he was checking in from Japan land. He says, I live in the future. Nothing exciting to report for now.
Well, tell us who wins on Saturday.
I can predict the future a little bit, Lofa, with my phone here and tell you that on Sunday in Kansas City, the low will be 22, the high will be 34, but it will be partly sunny with no precipitation. So weather probably not playing a factor in, other than the cold temperatures in either one of these games.
Yeah, but Buffalo, dude, it's frigid up there. So, like, playing in Kansas City is no big deal.
Can I ask a question for my son?
No.
that he asked me. Okay, moving on. Okay, so anyway,
Yes. What does young Patrick want?
okay. Last weekend, he asked me, and he said, "Ask Lofa this." I said, "Okay." He goes, "How do they do the no sleeves when it's that cold?" Okay, so we got one game's gonna be 30, one's game's gonna be 34. You wouldn't be rocking sleeves out there, would you? And if not, how do you guys do that?
No, never wore sleeves.
Crazy.
There are some tricks that, like Vaseline, right, on the arms, kind of traps the heat. That's why you see some guys looking like, Mr. Olympia out there. I should have done it.
Shows off the traps.
I should have done it just for aesthetics, but I felt like you would slide off of like tackles, or even like if you caught a ball like with the body, like it. So I was like, nah, I'm just going raw.
Some guys just lubing up before the game. That's pretty funny. Like they're The Rock or Vin Diesel over there. Huh?
Like they're getting ready to hit a flex out there.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's interesting. That makes sense though, because it would be a little.
There's another,
skin,
and then they had another one that was warm skin. Oh, holy shit! So, I think it was either Leroy or Julian. They put on way too much. You're only supposed to take like a little dab, right? And like it'll coat you, and you rub it in. Came around the corner from the training room. It just completely white, like sunblock. You know how sunblock kind of.
Yeah. And
I was like, "Hey, bud, you got something right, on your head." No. He's like, "Oh, at least I'm going to be warm." It was hilarious, though.
Oh man! All right, so there's some smoke and mirrors. There could be on some of these guys.
Tactics. Yeah, there's some tactics.
But most guys are just going out there with the bare arms, hitting each other like that. That it seems miserable.
Oh yeah, your skin can cut very easily.
Oh, like paper out
there. Because you're cold. And you're cold and your skin's tight, and so when you hit, like it can just. Whereas, like if you're warm, you got to sweat. You're good. Like it'll just like right off. Yeah.
Is there shame in like a guy going out there in a turtleneck? Like, are you going to dog that guy?
Absolutely. Like if you're doing
turtleneck, a quarterback.
Hey man, I'm not judging, but I'm totally judging. But no linebacker in our crew wore sleeves. Like if you wore one sleeve, if that was your style, you're permitted to wear one sleeve because it's your swag, man. That's your style. Right. But otherwise, hell no. Like no sleeves. You could wear a turtleneck. Now I don't have a neck, so I couldn't wear a turtleneck. But if you have a neck, we didn't. Yeah, as long as he cut the sleeves off, he was fine.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because I know, a lot of the guys, DK or like Tyler, go with the full head, what is it? Like the face mask, or you know what I mean? The like ski
scuba
mask.
Gear.
Yeah, like the scuba gear. But then you cut the sleeves off that.
Yeah. Okay. We wouldn't knock that. That's fine.
Fit anyway.
Yeah. They can't wear but Under Armour, that's like some stretchy stuff. No,
not too much muscles.
No, man. I'd be out there in long underwear, 2 layers, foot warmers, the whole thing.
I used to be funny when I would see, was the receiver for the Packers, James Jones. He would wear the hoodie. He would cut the sleeves off, though. He always cut the sleeves off. So I thought that was a cool look. I was like, man, he literally could put the hood on over his helmet on the sidelines. And then when he got out there, he could take it. I'm not saying he did, but he wore a hoodie.
Yeah.
And cut the sleeves off.
Are you allowed to tackle him by the hood at that point?
I believe you are. It's part of the uniform.
Yeah.
Looks like kind of like the hair.
Yeah.
Guys have gotten ripped down by their hair. If you could tackle them like that.
Oh, there you go. Enjoy the games, everybody.
One more thing.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Another 51.
Oh, yeah. Before we get out of here, Lofa, one number 51 to another. How about Ichiro, everybody? Mariners legend getting inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Speaking of first ballot Hall of Famers, some chucklehead out there in the Baseball Writers Association, one guy or gal, one person decided to not vote for Ichiro. So he misses getting in by 100% of the vote by one stinking vote, but whatever. He goes in, and what a legend Ichiro is.
I feel like it's a Seattle thing that they do to us, right?
Right.
The disrespect. Because Griffey, was it 2 votes or 3 votes? There's something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, these are 2 that should have been unanimous, decisions. And like someone just wanted to be cool and like, oh yeah, I'm the one that left them off. Like they wanted their shine. Well, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Ichiro, one of the greatest to ever do it. Like I was explaining to my kids and some of the kids on the baseball team that I coach that, not only did he do it in the major leagues, but he was doing it for like 7 years in Japan before coming over. You see what Shohei's doing now, and the Dodgers just signed another Japanese player. Like there's so many, Japanese and Asian-born players that have come after, Matsui and Ichiro and those guys who did before them.
Matsui.
But Ichiro, just absolute legend. He also won the World Baseball Classic twice for Team Japan.
Damn.
All stuff from the world of baseball. But here's the other thing, Lofa. They're retiring the number 51, which Randy Johnson also wore it, but then Ichiro wore it as well. But they're going to retire Ichiro's number 51 out there in the outfield.
Center field, right? Yeah.
Junior and Edgar and Jackie Robinson, of course, which is retired at every state. There you go. The number 51 will be hanging in the rafters for the Mariners, Loaf.
I'm going to tell my kids that's me. But shout out to the legend. What a beast.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everyone for joining today and watching and filling up the chat and copying the link and sending it to your friends. It's really exciting and really fun for me, Lofa, to watch the viewer number go up. I'm sure it is for you as well as we're here on the air. And we love building this family. We love being here for you guys. And we'll be going live this Sunday at 9 p.m., just like we always do, talking about everything that happened on Sunday from these games. And, the show doesn't start till we get to 100 viewers. So let's make sure that you copy these links and pass them around to your friends, huh?
Championship Sunday. I can't wait.
Oh, man, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. Shout out to Delta. Make sure you sign up for 12 Status, 12status.com. Shout out to epicseats.com and shout out to simplyseattle.com. Also, our merch store, which we'll put a link real quick here in the chat, is alldaybrand.co. We're still selling the t-shirts. We're still selling the hoodies and the hats and everything.
Give me some ideas for those things too, please.
Yeah.
What do you want to see? I mean, we're going to make the Goonies one for Alina. What else? We got some other surprise ones coming up, but we need a mantra, All Day Family, for this year. What's it? Thrive in 25. What are we doing? Tell us what we're doing.
And also another little announcement, basically, or public service announcement for the family here. If you miss a live time or a live viewing of our show, or if you can't make it while we're on live, that's okay. Come to YouTube, watch it later. I mean, it'll be on record, but you can still go in and comment as if you're there live. Just because you're not going to make it like on time doesn't mean that you can't watch. And also set your reminders on YouTube, and then that'll let you know that we're coming on. I think there's a way to set your reminders on here. Make sure you set them up so that you'll get a notification, a little ding when we are going on. But even if you can't jump on right then, still just come back later, watch it anyway, or find us on a podcast app.
Well said, partner.
Thanks, man. We'll see you guys on Sunday, 9 p.m. after the games. Hit us up on social media, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Bye for now, though.
Appreciate you.